Hello everybody. Welcome to the Kathy J Show. I am Kathy J and I am so happy to see you today. Thank you for hanging out with me this half hour. I know you have a lot of options, so I really appreciate the fact that you're hanging out with me. And thank you to everybody that is streaming us on the Denver 7 app. And thank you to everybody that goes to kathyjshow.com throughout the day to catch up on what's been happening in our world. It means the world to us. Okay, so today we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month by honoring the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. You know, it's easy to see the influence that Hispanic culture has had in America, with 1 in 5 people in the United States identifying as Hispanic or Latino. That's 18% of the population. You just got to turn on the radio. You're bound to hear some sort of Mexican-inspired music, and here's the thing. The taco has outpaced the hot dog in popularity, everybody. And according to the Washington Times, tortillas outsell hamburger buns in the United States. And I just have to say I'm one of those people because peanut butter on a tortilla is the best. Okay, but you know what I love a lot about the Hispanic culture? It starts with the people. I love the people. My friends, my best friend, actually, Becca, you guys met her. Her mother, Raquel. Hi, Raquel. Raquel is Mexican, so she was always cooking. She was always the one that was taking care of us. And Raquel, y'all better watch out because nobody can give a mom a stare like Raquel. There's also other certain cultural aspects that I love about the Hispanic culture, like how they celebrate the Day of the Dead. I think that's a beautiful sentiment. You keep people with us through their memories after they passed on. Who doesn't want that? I've taught that to my kids. Pictures around. You have to talk about your family members that came before you. And you know what? Let's talk about that food. I know that's an easy one. But if anyone ever says, where you want to go out to eat, Kathy? I'm like, Mexican food, let's go have Mexican food. Because I love all of it. Did you know so many cultures within the Hispanic community prepare their food based on how their ancestors did from where they came from? And there's so many different yummy takes on it. Like for instance, there's a taco place on 17th, two brothers, hi guys, and their family's from the Yucatan Peninsula. So they add pumpkin and nutmeg and all those different spices to their Mexican food. And I'm a regular. I got to just give a shout out to the original spot off of 38th with the green chili. I put it on everything, burritos, burgers, chili cheese fries. See, the trick is you got to flip the plate upside down and then you take it off and the green chili oozes into the bottom. I'm on program. I don't know anything about that. All right, but here's the thing. The Hispanic culture itself seems to be a great support system. There are a lot of people, like if you know somebody that's Hispanic, their family runs deep, plain and simple. Not only do they love their older generations, but they also take care of them. The whole family unit works together to keep the entire family afloat. So grandparents could be babysitting, elders are babysitting, so be it. That's how it works. And I love that they teach their kids the passion of like teaching them Spanish as a language. It teaches the heritage, the culture. You know, my grandfather, he taught me how to pick potato bugs. It's not really the same thing. It's a tradition, but it's not really the same thing. And you know what? Here's the thing. I know Spanish too. Here you go. You ready? Hola. ¿Cómo está? Ah, muy bien. Oh, no, estudio español en la escuela por 8 años and no habla español. So more or less, hopefully what I just said was, hi, how are you? I'm good. I studied Spanish for 8 years in school, and I can't speak any of it. If you don't use it, you lose it. We all know that. But my guest today is going to have a lot of fun with me because we are very well connected together, and she is well connected within the Hispanic community. And the North Side in the house. I'm talking about Tammy. TQ is how she calls herself. Actually, we call her TQ. We go way back in the day. She was my main sales girl for the radio station we worked at. There we are, KS 1075. Does that say 2007? Oh my goodness. But Tammy's my girl. Tammy and I were in the clubs every week for almost 10 years. We've seen it all. Some of my favorite memories are with her backstage at concerts, working together, helping families during the holidays, and of course, laughing our way through those club nights. I can't even tell you how many times all 5-foot OG Tammy saved me from a drunk listener or a crazy club promoter. God bless her for taking that hit for me. I've seen her in action, everybody, and I'll say it again. You don't mess with TQ. She's a powerhouse, she's a force to be reckoned with, and she's got the biggest heart out of all of my friends. Tammy is a pioneer in the Hispanic community, everybody, and today we're going to honor her by sharing her story about growing up here in Denver and how she came to be a voice in the Hispanic community. So everybody stick around, get comfortable, and let's hang out with my friend Tammy after the break. Kathy J. The Colorado Lottery is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Colorado Lottery, play on. Welcome back to the show, everybody. So today we're talking to an advocate in the Denver Hispanic community, as well as one of my dearest friends. Everybody, please welcome Tammy Quintana to the show.
Oh, thank you.
TQ in the house. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm so proud of you, Kathy. This is amazing.
You know what? I used to tell you when we were hanging out, I'm going to have my own show one day, Tammy.
You did, and you did it, and I'm super proud of you. Congratulations.
Just thought thank you. You just thought it was the alcohol talking. You know what, here's the thing. Back in the day, we got into one fight. Do you remember the one fight we got in? We worked together for like 13 years. There was one fight we got in.
No.
It was at Teddy's at the nightclub. Do you remember outside? I didn't want to come and do the nightclub, and it was raining, and it was starting to get cold, and it was around this time of year, and you were like, I don't want to be here either, Kath. And I was like, Tammy, this isn't fair. You need to tell them they need to cancel this club night. And you were like, we're here. Do you don't remember any of that?
I don't.
Okay, good. Because
I don't have a pretty good memory. So
you do, but you were always putting out fires. Like it seems like that's just what you were made to do in a way. You're so calm when things happen, when things are going crazy. That's what I've always loved about you. Is just you're so chill, and I love that. Do you think that's where you got it, was being raised by your grandparents? Like, did they teach you a different kind of maturity coming up that you didn't get?
I think I learned that all on my own. It's just part of growing up.
It's your survival skills.
Oh my gosh, because I worked really hard at just trying to let things roll off my shoulder and just learning how to communicate better and just trying to do it in a way without having to be mean.
Yes, right. No, I know.
Just diffuse the situation, but hey, we got to do this. So let's try and figure out a creative solution. You
are so inspiring. You were raised, you had that awesome picture about you with your grandparents. You were raised by your grandparents.
I was.
Yes, here in the north side. And you were kind of their interpreter, right?
Yes, I was.
That's cool. So your parents, they were young parents. And so your grandpa, as you said, the minute he saw you, he was like, I'm taking her.
He did. He did. So my mom is one of 9 of 10.
Wow.
And so she was, my parents were really young when they had me. And my grandparents stepped in and said, we want to take this one. And so they did. They brought me up. They brought me up in the culture. They brought me up speaking Spanish. So our first language at home was Spanish. So anytime we would go to the grocery store, I would have to interpret, or we'd have to go pay a bill. I'd have to interpret for my grandparents.
Yes.
And we're talking in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I must have been like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I mean, you see that all the time, the younger generations. Even Mary and her Greek family, she said that she was the interpreter for the older generations that were here. So I get that. We do have a picture of you. I love this picture of you when you were a kid saving a cat. The cat does not look very happy. But the whole reason I bring this picture up is because Tammy, TQ, has been saving animals her whole life. How many animals do you have right now in your house?
Oh my gosh, I plead the fifth.
Oh,
I plead the fifth.
Okay, not that she needs to tell anybody, but it's like 5 dogs, 2 parakeets, 1 cat. I was like, what are you doing there? But what I love about you is you've always been proud to be Hispanic. You've always been so proud of your culture and your heritage. When we worked together, I just always felt that your daughter was always with us. And what about your heritage do you love? What makes you so proud to be Hispanic?
I think for the most part was growing up with my grandparents and again, learning the culture, understanding, speaking Spanish.
What is this photo?
So this is my grandparents' wedding. And so this is my grandfather and his mother off to the left of him, my grandmother and their family members.
So is your one grandmother, is she African American?
She's Indian. She's Native American.
She's Native American,
Yep,
okay. And this photo you have to tell everybody about. What is this?
So my great-grandmother, Aurora, which is my grandfather's mother, she was a soldadera with Pancho Villa. And this is a picture of her and her posse.
That is so cool. You know what, though? That explains so much of you, because the fire is in your blood. Like, every time we're together, like, you just have this fire about you. But obviously,
Oh, I'm a very passionate person.
Yes, you
know
are.
that. Mhm.
DNA, you got that. So what about so when it gets to Skylar, your beautiful daughter Skylar, what kind of things do you always try to teach Skylar about? Because she is an amazing, everybody, she's like 26, okay? The kid is never going to age. She's got great genes. What do you tell her about her heritage?
You know, Skylar is very independent, and I think her biggest regret is we didn't speak a whole lot of Spanish at home with her growing up.
Why is that?
And I think just because of the bilingual, bicultural culture now. You know, back in the 80s, my grandparents, I'd have to say, you know, back then, there was very few Hispanic families in the Metro Denver area that spoke Spanish. Right?
Right.
And so I think one of our bigger regrets is not speaking the language at home with Skylar coming up.
Right.
But Skylar is very independent. I continue to, you know, she travels, she's single, she's living life to the fullest. Don't settle.
Right.
You know, live life to the fullest. And
yeah,
you know,
she's
being
single and we're keeping her single. Don't even try it, everybody.
And you know, she's fairly independent, but I think just being independent and having that voice and being able to speak her mind and do what she wants to do and not being told what to do.
That's what you trained her to do. That's how you raised her. Now, briefly, really fast, when you left me at KS 1075, the radio station, you went on to MetLife, right?
I went on to work for their competitor, New York Life.
Oh, right, New York Life, right, okay. And you had some really good success there. Yes, and then you went on to work where? Intravision?
Well, I did work in Intravision before I came to KS 1075 for 10 years.
Yes, so go on your
and
resume.
Then, so Intravision, KS 1075, Jefferson Pilot, where we worked for almost 13 years.
Right.
And then I went on to work for New York Life for almost 7 as the head of the Latino markets, marketing manager and recruiter. And then I went to Telemundo. And then I took a step back and reevaluated and wanted to take a look at what I wanted to do next. I wanted to do something different.
Right.
Did you know what?
Right, but every job you had still geared you towards community activism, I feel. Because even when we were at the radio station, you were down. You were my girl when we were doing the Christmas Wish. So I feel like you've always had the community activism. And then that is where we leave the break, everybody. Because when we come back, I'm going to tell you where that community activism has led Tammy to her next opportunity. And it's actually part of my family. So I'm so excited. We will be right back. Kathy J. Ramos Law is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. He's a medical doctor and a lawyer. Ramos Law, what makes us different makes us better. Welcome back to the Kathy J Show, everybody. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we're learning a little bit more about the Hispanic community here in the Denver metro area, as well as a little bit more about my amazing friend TQ in the house. Tammy Quintana, everybody. I love you. Thank you for being here. Now, before we went to break, you were telling us about all the different places you've worked. A lot of different cultural markets, you know, in those jobs. What have you learned along the way about all that?
Just that we were underrepresented, I think, you know, just
The
being
Hispanic
that voice.
community? Yeah.
Because every single, and I believe it or not, every single role throughout my entire career has involved the Hispanic market.
Yes.
From Servicios de la Raza, my very first job at 14.
14?
14.
I was 13.
I was 14, and when I applied, it was through the Wellington Webb Mayor's Office of, it was a summer job youth program of some sort. And the director at the Servicios de la Raza, Anita Gonzalez, she said, "You speak Spanish?" And I said, "I do." She goes, "I need you here in my office."
Yeah.
And I think that was when I realized, wow, I speak Spanish. I'm valuable. I could, you know, and so. But speaking Spanish has opened so many doors for me. And I think we have talked about this before, that I literally have kicked them in.
Yeah.
And so, again, Servicios de la Raza, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Intravision for 10 years. With you, even, you know, a huge percent of our audience was Hispanic.
Yes, right.
Bilingual, right?
Yeah,
Bicultural.
absolutely. Yeah.
And then I went to New York Life, Telemundo, and then where I'm at today.
Yes, right. Yeah, we're not going to get there yet. I don't want to tell everybody where you're at right now. But you did say a word to me, and I wanted you to explain to our listeners, Hispanic purchasing power. What does that mean?
The Hispanic gross product purchasing power is $1.7 trillion.
Okay, and that's how much money the Hispanic community is putting into the U.S.
to the economy, driving U.S. economy.
Right, and a lot of that's cash. Let's be honest. There's not a lot of banks sometimes that work with people that aren't citizens,
Right.
you know, so a lot of
Right.
that is cash money just moving through the economy.
Right.
You can't ignore that. That's a lot of money that is important to our economy, is what I'm trying to say.
The Hispanic market is a huge driving force to the economic,
Yeah. And
force here.
merchants need to recognize that as well. That's what you worked on when you were with the Denver Hispanic, or with the Hispanic Chamber
Yes.
of Commerce, telling merchants, hey, there's a whole market
There's
out
a whole
here.
market out there.
You better get a hold of them.
Right.
Why is it important to you? Why do you think over the years you always get called, this is your calling? Why is it important to you to have awareness out there for the Hispanic community?
I think to be a voice, I think I respect the fact that my grandparents really struggled when they came to the U.S. and they came early.
Yeah.
I think my family, like I had mentioned, my mom comes from 1 to 10, and they grew up in West Denver, and they were probably one of the first Hispanic families at that time.
Right.
I think they came in the 1920s.
Wow.
No, my grandfather worked a mason. He was
Yes.
a blue-collared contractor. Grandmother was a homemaker. But I always think about my grandparents and their struggles, and right now,
Yes.
my people's struggles.
You see it, you hear the stories, you help them. And that's where we're coming to where Tammy works now, everybody. Tammy is the community director for Ramos Law. How cool is that? So it's just perfect that you were there, because you've always been so helpful with me, but you've only been there a year. You've already jumped in with both feet. You already did like a turkey giveaway last year for Christmas. You helped Dr. Ramos when people come that might not have personal injury cases, but they still need help because they speak Spanish and they don't understand something legal that's happening with
Right.
them. You really help facilitate so much behind the scenes with the Hispanic community in Ramos Law, right? Is that fair?
It is fair to say. And, a lot of the callers that call in, most of the times, or not all the times, but they will call looking for direction or guidance. And if we can't help them, we always want to take the time to give them some sort of guidance.
Yeah.
So Dr. Ramos will jump in and be like, hey, you know what? This might be a good case for this particular person, but he follows them through that.
Dr.
We just
Ramos
want to
is
make
awesome.
sure he's Superman, isn't he?
He is Superman.
Oh my
like people
gosh.
still talk about Joseph Ramos. Like he is amazing, Dr. Ramos. Like the fact that he's a doctor and a lawyer, the fact that he's so giving, the fact that I don't know how he sleeps.
And honestly, Kathy, that is what brought me to Ramos Law, the culture. And just knowing the people in the family there, they believe in the same core values that I believe in,
Yeah.
Giving back, family first, trusting others. And with Hispanics, you have to have that trust. They like to do business with people that they can trust, that they like,
Yeah.
that understands the language and the culture.
Exactly.
And so they trust us.
Yeah.
They trust us enough to give us a call and say, hey, I don't understand what this letter says, but can you read it to me? And we will take the time to read that letter to them.
And I think that's awesome because there are a lot of Hispanics that speak Spanish only that get taken advantage of out here, whether it's, they don't get paid for a job that they were supposed to do because someone knows that the person can't go call the police, for fear of ICE. That's horrible that somebody can let somebody work for them for 8 hours for the day and not pay them. And that person has a family to go home to and feed and support. So it's not right. And so I'm very grateful that there's people like you and Dr. Ramos helping that community get justice. I don't know if you really truly get justice, but at least a voice for you.
Right, some
Yeah.
voice, some guidance.
Uh-huh.
We do everything from personal injury, from employment law.
Oh, yeah, Ramos Law is the best.
Workers' compensation, real estate law. We're out throughout the Denver metro area in Colorado, office in Arizona, expanding into New Mexico soon.
He's taken over everybody,
He
but that's
truly
good
is.
because he really wants to help people, and there's so many people that need help. So everybody, to connect with Tammy, just go to Ramos Law. Tammy's at ramoslaw.com. She is the Director of Community Relations. You'll find her. But T. Quintana at Ramos Law.
T. Quintana at ramoslaw.com.
Okay, have I been saying your name wrong the whole time? Why do I say Quintana? Is it Quintana? Should I say more of a
You say potato, I say potato. Quintana.
We'll be right back. Quintana, we'll be right back.
Kathy J.
Oakwood Homes is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Oakwood Homes, building happiness. Only a half hour, it's never fair. It's already time for the show to end, everybody, but don't forget, you can find more shows any time of the day at kathyjshow.com. And I want to thank you for joining us this half hour. And thank you to Tammy. Happy birthday, Tammy! I love
Thank
you.
you.
I'm so happy you're here. Before I let you go, do you have any final thoughts to everybody, our viewers?
Be good to each other out there, folks. It's so hard as it is. We just need to look out for each other. And if you can make a difference, even if it's a little dent, get your hands wet. Go hug a tree. Go walk a dog. Go
Right.
feed the homeless. But if you can make a difference in a little dent, go out there and do it.
Exactly, right? It's the starfish thing. You save one starfish, you might not be able to save them all, but as long as you're saving one, they save one, it keeps going.
Absolutely.
Everyone have a wonderful day, and thank you so much, Tammy, for being here. You're the best.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Kathy J.